Have you ever hidden your true self just because you were scared of being judged? Maybe you wanted to follow your passion. Maybe you wanted to do something different. But fear stopped you. Fear of laughter, fear of criticism, fear of what people might think. And slowly, without noticing, you began living for others instead of yourself. This story carries a lesson many people learned too late. Years ago, in a small village surrounded by hills and rivers, there lived a young girl named Sarah. Sarah was quiet, kind, and hardworking. Every morning she helped her mother with chores. She carried water from the well, cleaned the house, and cared for the little garden behind their home. But deep inside her heart, Sarah loved one thing more than anything else. She loved painting. Whenever her work was finished, she would sit beside the river with a few brushes and small jars of color. She painted sunsets glowing across the sky. She painted birds resting on tree branches. She painted the flowing water, green fields, and clouds floating above the hills. Painting made her feel peaceful. It was the one place where her heart felt free. But not everyone in the village understood her. Some people laughed at her passion. She wastes too much time, they said. Painting cannot build a future. Others mocked her openly. Instead of dreaming all day, she should focus on real work. Even some relatives criticized her. What kind of girl spends hours painting the sky? At first, Sarah ignored the comments. She stayed silent and continued doing what she loved. But slowly the words started affecting her. Every joke hurt a little more. Every criticism stayed in her mind long after people walked away. One afternoon, Sarah overheard a group of girls laughing about her near the market. "She thinks she's some great artist," one of them said. The others laughed loudly. Sarah smiled weakly and walked away. But inside, her heart felt heavy. That evening she returned home quietly. She looked at her paints for a long time. Then she placed them inside a box and closed it. "Maybe they're right," she whispered to herself. "Maybe this dream is foolish." And from that day, Sarah stopped painting. Life continued. She still worked hard every day. She still smiled politely at neighbors. She still did everything people expected from her. But something inside her slowly disappeared. Her smile no longer felt real. Her eyes looked tired. The happiness she once felt near the river was gone. She felt empty without understanding why. Then one evening, an old traveler arrived in the village. He wore simple clothes and carried a wooden walking stick. People gathered around him because he was known for giving wise advice. Sarah listened quietly from a distance. After the crowd slowly left, she walked toward him. "Sir," she said softly, "may I ask you something?" The old man nodded kindly. Sarah hesitated before speaking. "I used to love painting," she said, "but people laughed at me and judged me, so I stopped. Now I feel lost all the time. How do I stop caring about what others think?" The old traveler stayed silent for a moment. Then he pointed toward the trees nearby. "Listen carefully," he said. Sarah listened. The evening wind moved gently through the branches. "What do you hear?" he asked. "The wind," Sarah answered. The old man smiled. "Does the wind stop moving because someone dislikes it?" Sarah shook her head. "No. The wind follows its own path," he said calmly. "It does not wait for approval." Then he picked up a dry leaf from the ground. "This leaf moves wherever others push it," he explained, "but the wind chooses its own direction." Sarah looked at the leaf quietly. The traveler continued. "When you allow other people's opinions to control your life, you become like this leaf. You stop listening to your own heart." Sarah lowered her eyes. "But what if people continue talking about me?" she asked. The old man smiled gently. "People always talk. They complain when someone fails. They complain when someone succeeds. They criticize people for being different, and they criticize people for being ordinary. You cannot build your life around everyone's opinions." Then he looked directly into her eyes and said, "If you spend your whole life trying to please everyone, you will slowly lose yourself." Those words touched something deep inside Sarah's heart. Before leaving, the old traveler gave her one final piece of advice. Stop asking permission to be who you are. That night, Sarah could not stop thinking about his words. Before sunrise, she quietly opened the old box she had hidden away. Inside were her forgotten brushes and colors. She held them gently in her hands. Then she walked back to the river. The morning air felt cool and peaceful. Birds were singing softly. Sunlight touched the water like gold. Sarah sat down beside the river and slowly began painting again. At first she felt nervous. People passing nearby whispered about her. She started again. Some laughed. She never changes, others said. But this time Sarah kept painting. For the first time in months, she did not allow their words to control her heart. As the brush moved across the paper, she felt alive again. Real happiness returned to her smile. Days passed. Sarah painted every morning beside the river. And slowly something unexpected happened. People began noticing the beauty in her work. Children gathered nearby to watch her paint. Travelers stopped to admire her pictures. Even some villagers who once mocked her started speaking differently. Her paintings feel peaceful, they said. But now Sarah no longer painted for praise. She painted because it brought joy to her soul. Weeks later she searched for the old traveler to thank him. But he had already left the village. On the ground where he once sat, she found a short message written in the dirt. The wind never asks for approval. It simply moves. Maybe you are like Sarah. Maybe you gave up something you truly love because people judged you. Maybe fear of criticism made you hide your real self. But remember this. People will always have opinions. No matter what you do, someone will criticize you. So don't waste your life trying to make everyone happy. Your dreams matter. Your voice matters. Your happiness matters too. Stop living only for other people's approval. Be brave enough to follow your own path. Because the moment you stop pretending is the moment you finally start living.